Hey, congratulations on getting up and going with Family First Life. I want to give you my list of the four most important things that I learned and to help you out. First is you're never going to be ready for your first dial day. You're never going to be ready for your first appointment. So stop trying to be ready. Tony Robbins says, I'll take doing over knowing any day of the week. Okay. And that's how he runs his businesses. I'll give you a quick little story. I lived in New Jersey, close to Atlantic City, and my friends always wanted to go to the casinos. And so I was like, all right, I got to find a way that I can go to the casino, have fun, and not spend a lot of money. So researched it because that's what I do. And I found out that craps was the best game so that you could play the longest if you play it right and have the best chance of at least keeping most of your money, right? And that was it. I just wanted to have fun. It was like going out to a club. If I was going to spend $200 that night going out somewhere, well, fine, go out to the casino, have fun with that $200. That was the goal. And so I did a ton of research. I learned what bets were best. I learned the lingo. I thought I had it all down. I got to the casino. First thing I did was throw my $100 on the table. Somebody threw the dice at the same time. The dice hit me in the wrist. Everyone at the table screamed at me. You will never be 100% ready. And that's my point. Okay. Dialing. You need to set your expectations properly for dial day. This is absolutely key because it is going to seem completely demoralizing if you don't. My son is a lacrosse player, and his first game playing lacrosse, he came off the field with his head hung low because he let half of the shots go into the goal. He thought he did terrible. Turns out 50% as a lacrosse goalie is incredible. That's like professional level. And he didn't know it. His team, his coaches were all jumping up and down with excitement. It was expectations that messed him up. So set your expectations properly. I want you to sit down for dial day. I want you to dial and not be distracted. If you're going to take a break because you're getting frustrated or something, go walk around the block. Have lunch, whatever. Otherwise, sit back down, keep track of the number of times that you dial so you can make sure that you're not distracting yourself with anything else. You should be able to dial the phone like 100 times an hour, but let's just go with 50 as being a fair number. That means you're going to dial the phone probably 300 to 450 times. Sure, you may only have 75 to 100 leads, but we dial them 3 times in a row. And that's because the first time you call, somebody looks at the phone, they don't recognize the number, and they think, well, it's probably a robocall. You call a second time, and you've got their interest because now they go, well, robocalls don't call twice in a row. You pick up the phone and dial a third time in a row, and they go, well, this must be urgent. And they're right. It is urgent. They signed up for this. They requested our help. All right. And if you don't get a hold of them, then you are not doing them a proper service. So that's why we dial 3 times in a row, and that's why 75 to 100 leads turns into 300 to 450 dials, morning, afternoon, evening, in order to get a hold of them. Now, what's the goal out of those 300 to 450 dials? It's just to get 5, 10, or 15 appointments. 15 appointments really is the goal, right? If you can get 15 appointments for your next 2 days, then you can do 30 appointments a week, and that should get you Hall of Fame. You should be making $400,000 a year doing that, okay? And it all boils down to not how well you sell. It boils down to setting 15 appointments. Some are going to no-show you. Some aren't going to buy. Set 15 appointments, okay? But at first, it might be hard to get there. So you might have to buy more leads. You might have to, do what you can do, dial more in order to get those, door knock, whatever you have to do to get there, right? But 15 is really the goal. That means out of 450 times you dial, 435 of those times, it's going to be no one answering the phone, getting an answering machine, or somebody angry at you that you even dared to call them. All right. So set your expectations. We know those things are going to happen. We know that is normal. And so you should expect that is completely normal. And you are looking for 15 yeses. That's it. Okay. One thing about dialing is your objections. Use the AAA method when you get an objection. That's acknowledge, agree, ask a question. Yeah, I took care of this already. Yes, sir, I know. That's exactly why I'm calling, because you already have a policy. You're still at 123 Main Street, right? See what I did there? I acknowledged their objection. I agreed with them, and then I asked them a question. It puts them back on track, okay? Even if they say I'm not interested. I'm not interested. I know. I'm not interested either, but this is my job. I just have to get this information out to you. You're still at 123 Main Street, right? Okay. So that's huge. And then in home, it's 3 steps. I start out my meeting by schmoozing with them for 5 minutes. Hey, this is a nice neighborhood. Oh, are these your grandkids? Whatever it may be, right? Just build a little bit of rapport. And then I'm going to be building their why. I'm going to be asking them, why am I here? But it's not one of the 3 steps that I tell them. So I say, why did you set this appointment with me today? Well, I just want to make sure, we need some protection for the family. So why is that important to you that you need the protection for the family? Okay, you want to build their why. But that's not one of the 3 steps. As soon as I finish building their why and doing a little rapport, then I say, all right, Joe, Mary, this is what we're going to do today. 3 parts to this appointment. The first part is going to be asking you some medical questions because I want to see which of the dozen carriers that I work with is going to be the most cost effective for you. Second part is going to be asking you some financial questions. We're going to do that so we can figure out what is comfortable for you in your budget. It's very important to me that you're not overspending because people who overspend on insurance are going to end up canceling and then you have nothing, and that's no good. The third part, I'm going to help you put an application in today for coverage. It's very important that I tell them those 3 steps and then do those 3 steps. It sets the expectation also by saying to them, I'm going to help you put an application in today. It can raise objections right away instead of spending 45 minutes with these people and then having them go, whoa, wait a minute, I'm not doing this today. No, remember, Joe, I told you at the beginning, we're going to put an application in, okay? And you still, by law, have 30 days to cancel, so you're not obligated to anything today. And you, what's the other thing that I say to them about that? If they're really pushing against it, I go, look, if you still want to do your research, let's push this back and have it start in a week instead of today. If you decide the next week that you don't want it, and because you find a better deal, then you just give me a call or the carrier a call. You can cancel it, and you'll never be charged. All right. That's only if I really have to do that. Otherwise, it's starting today, and I'm putting an application in for them. I don't ask them. I tell them. When I go through their financials, I ask them their monthly income. I ask them their major expenses. What do you pay for rent or mortgage? What do you pay for your automobile? What do you pay for insurance for your automobile? How about what do you pay monthly roughly for food? When I ask those questions, anything that aren't their major expenses, I say, okay, is there anything else that is an essential expense that you pay? All right, yeah, I have alimony that I pay. That's essential. Okay, so we write that down. Whatever's left over, that's your expendable cash each month. All right. And the rule of thumb is 10 to 15% of that should be used for insurance. So I see here that you have about $1,000 a month expendable. We're going to stay from $100 to $150 a month in order to make sure that it's affordable for you. Now, the carrier that I found for you, and I don't ask, I'm telling them that's what we're going to do. And it works very well. The last thing that I'll tell you is you are part of an absolutely amazing team. I have never seen anything like it. I absolutely love how helpful everyone here is. Please utilize that. If you have questions, post them in the Slack general group or post them on Marco Polo. If you don't know what that is, go to ffleagles.com And on the home page, you can see the links there to become part of our Marco Polo group and part of our Slack group so that you can ask your questions there. That's it. All right. With that information, you're ready to roll. All you need is to let us know when you get your emails, because they tell you well before they tell us. So it's important you tell us when you get the emails from Americo, Prosperity, and AIG. As soon as you have those three, you're ready to roll. We'll fill in with more carriers later, but between Americo, Prosperity, and AIG, you can cover anybody for any reason up to 80 years old. And you'll have mortgage protection, you'll have final expense protection, that's whole life and term, and even some universal life options there. So that's it. Don't overthink it. Just dive in and make it happen. And you're going to have some success and be able to help some families.